What's up, traders? So this video is going to be a deep dive into the Optionsmith platform. We've got a lot of people now starting to log in that have been given access. They wanted to be part of the soft launch, which, by the way, you can still join in. Just send an email to support@optionsmith.com at this time and we'll get you access. There's still openings, but people are starting to use the platform, and I just wanted to give a really good overview of everything that you can expect and what you need to do when you first get in. So when you're given access to Optionsmith, and in the future anybody will be able to just register and log in, but right now we're keeping it to a certain defined amount so that we can react and control to any questions or enhancements or issues that might be in the platform. It just gives us a better way to make things as good as we can for the customer experience. This is a very customer focused platform. We plan to be in good communication with our users and add in enhancements. If somebody says to us, hey, this would be really great if it did this, this is how I trade, and I think something like this would help, we are going to be extremely open to things like that, because we're really good at building functionality. So that's how we're going to do it. But anyway, so if you have the access you've gotten right now, if you've gotten the email, and you go to app.optionsmith.com, you'll see a page like this when you first get here. And you click Enter Realm, you're going to go to New to Optionsmith, create an account. And so you'll just use the email that you were using to communicate with us. That's what we will have given access to. So this is just creating your account, using your email address, and making up a good password. Okay, so you will get a verification code sent to your email. Type that in. So the first time you come into the platform, you will get a user agreement. I recommend that you just read through this. It's saying that you acknowledge you're not holding Optionsmith liable for anything that happens when you trade. We do highly recommend having another means of order entry handy and running, like Thinkorswim or something like that, just to be safe in case something happens with not just the Optionsmith platform, but with the Schwab API. I mean, if something happens with that and orders aren't going through, it's just a good practice. We're dealing with real money a lot of times here. It's a good practice to have something like that ready just in case you need to go there and close out a trade or something like that. So if you accept this agreement, you will come to the profile settings. So you'll just enter in a first name and last name. That's really all we require. The nickname is just used for displaying what you like as your nickname up on the page, and also when if you choose to have your trades published to a Discord channel or something like that, it will use your nickname, so you don't have to have your real name out there. If you click Enable Live Trading, this is what will allow you to actually submit orders to Schwab. Otherwise, you can do everything else. You'll get live quotes coming in. You can arrange different option strategies visually and all of that. But when you go to actually submit an order, it will say, no, you can't do that. You don't have live trading on. And that's just if you only want to use this for putting together your strategy and viewing everything or analyzing your trades, but you don't actually want to submit orders through the Optionsmith platform, then keep this unchecked. but this allows you to submit orders. Paper trading mode on, so when you have this on, it will disable live trading because that's a system where we keep track of just a fake account for you, and you can submit trades against the live data, but it's really just keeping track of what you would have made. It's really designed to be able to kind of get familiar with the platform and do trades without actually doing real trades. Admittedly, this is not our most robust functionality in Optionsmith. We spent enough time on it to make it usable, but it's really not going to be the best paper trading method out there, because there are just things like keeping track of when an option would have expired or when it would have been assigned. Things like that just get really complicated if you want a good paper trading system, and that just hasn't been our primary focus. Our primary focus is creating a really good trading experience for entering real trades. And so you can use that to get to know the platform, or just to sort of forward test some of your strategies, but it's not an exact replica of real trading, so just keep that in mind. So if you have live trading enabled, for the tags used, now this might be confusing to some people because when you're first coming into the application, this will be blank. But when you are trading and you have positions, you can tag all of those positions with whatever tags you want, different values. Like I tag my broken wing butterfly trades as BWB, stuff like that. Any way that you can think of where you would want to be able to search for those specific trades, or narrow down to those specific trades when you are in the analysis tab and you're trying to analyze your trades, and you say, I want to analyze all of my broken wing butterflies. So then you would search on that tag, or you'd put that tag in the filter. Well, when you start to use tags, then if you're in your profile settings like this, they will appear here as visible tags, but you might have a tag that you used for a while and you decided that you don't really want it coming up in the drop down, because we put all the tags you've used in a drop down field so you can select them easily without having to type them in when you're searching on them. And if you decide there's a tag that you no longer really want appearing there, you can move them over into this hidden tags area. And so this is pretty handy after you've been using tags a lot and tagging your positions, but it can be kind of confusing if you first come in here and it's blank and you're not sure what it does. So the Discord publishing, you can select this and you can publish trades to your Discord channels. So if you have any channels that you have access to, you can go to them and get the webhook URL for them and just add it in here. And then anytime you enter a trade, essentially if anytime you submit an order, we will publish a little description of that order to any of the Discord channels that you have set up here. We also have a publish trades to Optionsmith Discord channel. This channel is not live to the public yet, so it really won't be visible to you, but our plan is that we'll have a live Optionsmith Discord channel, and one of the channels in there will be just all the trades that Optionsmith users are publishing. Well, there's not a ton of people doing in Optionsmith yet, so it hasn't been worth it for us to actually make that live and visible, but that is going to be there in the future. Okay, so you've got this all set up. Now you may see this purge position data button down here. Don't press it. It does have a confirm, just to make sure you don't accidentally do it. But what this does is it reloads all of your positions from your Schwab history, because when you initially get to the home page, which is what we're going to do next, we do an initial load of all of the transactions from Schwab for the past year, and we put all the positions that you've done. either in a closed list, or if there are some that are currently open, we have them displayed on the main page. And that all has been working really well. It's been rock solid for all of our testing for quite a long time, but there is a chance that something kind of gets messed up in your portfolio list, and this is just kind of a fail-safe so that we can have you go in and have it do a reload from all of that. And when you do that, we try to make it so that any tags or notes that you'd put on positions get preserved based on the expiration date, the tag of the actual order. We match that up so that hopefully if you have to purge your position data, and hopefully you never have to, then we preserve all of that so you don't lose all of that tagging and notes. So that's just kind of a fail-safe just in case we run into something where you need to reload your portfolio. So don't touch that. But you can save your profile like this, and then you will be brought into the main page. Now, right now we are in trial mode because I'm using a trial user, and we just have this notice here indicating that the price updates for the trial users are slightly slower in frequency than the subscription users. It shouldn't impact things that much, but we want to be cost effective, and so if once you're paying for a subscription, we're pinging the APIs a lot quicker, and so anyway, you will see this page, and this banner should show up if you have not authorized Schwab with Optionsmith yet. So if you click Authorize Now, you will see a page like this. Now you're in the Schwab site, okay? So you want to enter in your login for the Schwab account. Okay, so that's what you put here. You click Login. They give you their own agreement. Theirs, you actually have to check a box. Continue. Accept consent. Here you get to select the accounts that you actually want us to integrate with. I've got 3 selected by default here. If you just have one, then you'll just check the one. So you click through, you click Done on there. You'll come back here. I've got a privacy button here. So this is just to hide from the screen. It hides your net lick of your accounts, your buying power and cash and all of that. It hides your email. This is just so if anybody is creating videos with Optionsmith and they want to hide that so it doesn't get broadcast out on YouTube or anything like that, or you're just sharing your screen with somebody and you want to hide that private unprivate button is kind of handy. I'm just going to do a double check, make sure we got audio. Yep. Okay. So you've got your profile displayed here, your subscription status. Now this main page will show your currently open positions. Now one thing I want to clarify is we keep track of positions based on a rolling methodology. So what that means is anytime you enter a trade and it's open, we consider that an open position. If that's an option trade and you, for example, roll a trade. So if you have an option that let's say you sold a put. This is a good example. This is what I do. You sold a put, and then 20 days from the time you sold that put, you roll that forward. So you close that out and you sell another put. We consider that a roll, and one of the main purposes of Optionsmith was to keep track of rolling profit or loss. because as option traders, rolling can be a very important part of the trading plan, and I always had to keep a spreadsheet if I wanted to keep track of how much profit I had gained on each roll, and then decide, okay, have I reached my target for this position? And there was, like in Thinkorswim, you only see the trade as like what's currently open, and the other things are just kind of lost from the totals that you see. So what we do is we keep track of your rolling profit loss, and it's defined as a trade, or well, a position where you have never had more than 30 minutes between the time you were completely out of that underlying, so for SPY, and the time that you opened a new position. So even if you bought stock in SPY and then sold it, and before 30 minutes passed, you reopened the stock position in SPY, you bought stock in SPY, that whole stretch would be considered one position, and that would cause, once you have opened a new trade in SPY, let's say you do it within like 10 minutes after you were completely closed out, we bring SPY back into your open position display, because we're considering that as like you're still rolling in that position. So that's why you see this rolling P&L, and then you see the open P&L. So the open P&L is the P&L for the trades that are currently open in Schwab. The rolling P&L is keeping track of all of the open positions plus all the trades that were closed that are considered part of this ongoing position. So if I go into the details of this position, you can see that at the top we have all of the open trades, and they are a brighter white. Below that, we have a slightly more grayed list of all of the trades that have been opened and closed in this rolling strategy. So we might want to make this more obvious, that these are the closed trades and then these are the opened trades. But that's how it works. And for the way I trade and for the way some of my colleagues trade, this is extremely effective, and this is very useful. So that's one of the key reasons why we started building Optionsmith, was to be able to just easily track rolling profits on a position. So on the main page, there are several actions that you can look at. Performance for a position is it will show a graph showing how your position has progressed day to day. Now it's because I logged in as a brand new user. That's not going to look good at all, because once you are a user that has logged in, then we take snapshots every day of the P&L of your open positions, and then we show a profit loss graph of how it performed over time. So I won't have a great example of that just because I'm using a brand new user, but that is a nice feature especially for long-term trades. Like on my SPY trade, this has been going for 8 months, I think, and so on my real login account, it has a nice profit line showing an upward slope over day to day, which is very useful. The tags, so this is where you add tags to your positions. So I can add anything like long term, and let's see, rolling, and then I save, And so those tags show up here, but also this becomes very handy because you not only can you search them here, but you can also use it on the analytics page. You can use it on the closed positions page. It becomes very handy to filter out and look for and use the positions that you're trying to target when you're doing your analyzing. So there's that. There's the notes functionality. So rolling SPY position. So save that. And so those notes will always be there on that position, even when the position is closed and you go to the closed page. I'll show that as well. And then we won't go to visualize quite yet because that's a big chunk of Optionsmith. But there's this Ask AI button, and all of this really does is when you click it, it gives you a very AI friendly, which means you can copy this and paste it into ChatGPT or something like that. And it just says, please analyze the position and suggest prudent management actions. So you click copy, and then you've got that text immediately available to you. You can paste that into any generative API or AI. And it's kind of an experimental feature at this point. It seems like something we can work with, we can test out. Maybe sometime in the future we will integrate directly with an AI service and provide that. But it also remains to be seen how useful it is, because AI, while AI for us is extremely useful for generating code, for building software, for analyzing data, asking it for advice is pretty generic and kind of a bad idea. So this is just kind of an experimental piece. But now I will go into, actually let's go to the trade page first. So we have the trade page, and from the trade page you can enter option trades or stock trades using the option chain. So I'll put SPX in. So this will look familiar to people who work with options a lot, but we have an option chain. To be honest, I thought I would use this a lot more than I do. I use our visualizer now to enter all option trades because I just like to immediately visually see the risk and reward profile. But this will be a handy and familiar interface for a lot of people. You can obviously just buy straight from here, or you can sell. You have the ability to create a limit order over here, or create a market order. When you go to create a limit order, in this interface, this limit value will be updating when the market is open based on the prices of the legs that you have in here. So, but if you modify it, then it will stay put where you changed it to. And then when you click create limit order, so it doesn't change once you've got your confirm order. So it keeps this steady, and then you can send the order directly from here. This is where you will actually send the order to Schwab. If you decide you want to change this, you just exit out of here and move this up or down. You can also just add shares that you're going to buy or sell, shares of stock, by putting that in here. Those shares can be sent with an option, so you can just put together a covered call or anything like that. And then we do have strategy templates. So if you click strategy templates, you get a list of just a vertical spread, an iron condor, and a butterfly. Now I'm going to clear this trade just to show that these can be added quickly. So if you click Iron Condor, you can set the strike that the Iron Condor will have for the short part of the wing and the on the put and also the call, and the wing depth and all that. But really, I think it's just easier to just click Add Iron Condor and slide up or down. So we've got a vertical spread. And we've got a butterfly, just like that. And if you decide you'd rather visualize this, then you can click on Visualize Trade, and you do get a visualizer that looks like this. So you can, and this is just all on the same page, it just adds it down below. Now this is kind of a smaller version of the real visualizer page, which I will get to. The difference is that this is just part of the trading page, but there's also a visualizer page which does all of this and doesn't have the whole option chain above it. This visualizer is designed really to focus on on existing positions and also create new positions. The only real difference between the visualizer page and the trade page is that the trade page has all of this option chain stuff, and it also has watch list capability, so you can create watch lists of tickers and switch between different watch lists. So that's one key thing to keep in mind, is that trade page and visualizer page, they both have this visualizing, but the trade page has the option chain and watch lists. So when you're visualizing these trades, it is set up so that you can add a strategy, you can see the risk reward profile, and you can view it at expiration or a present curve, which just shows you if the stock price immediately moved to any of these places, what would be your P&L at this moment. You can also go further ahead in time when you create your strategy. So let's say like 11 days ahead, and let's add an iron condor, 11 days ahead. You go to present curve, you see this, you move it forward, and it shows you over time what that would look like. So we have the, let's see, we have the day open, so we show you what the open price was for today. We show that on the chart. We have the previous close, so we'll show you on the chart what the price closed at the previous day, and also the daily ATR, which is it's showing you in the past 7 days what is the average true range. So it will have this is a little bit tricky because the market isn't open right now, but it will have a line that says where the high would be if the stock moved all the way up to the top of the average true range, and it will have a line showing you what the low would be if the stock moved all the way down the distance of the average true range. So, and it bases that on how high the stock has gone for that day so far. So if the stock goes up by, let's say, 10 points, and then it will show you, okay, from the high that it got to today, the low, if it traveled the average true range amount for the day, if it created that same range, this is where the low would be for that day. So it gives you a nice indication of how far you can expect that the stock might move for that day. For gamma exposure, we have a volume-based and open interest-based graph, and this just takes the volume for each option at that price or at that strike and multiplies it by the gamma. So it shows you, that's why they call it gamma exposure. It's kind of a popular calculation to use. And it's really just showing you which options have a lot of volume on them, and how much is that going to affect either the draw to that price or repelling that price. So many people have different theories on how volume at certain strikes will affect the market, but this just shows you which ones have that high volume compared to the gamma. The gamma exposure is what the calculation is. I won't get too deep into that stuff. This is mainly just to give you a good overview of how to use the platform. But when you have added these legs to the visualizer, you also see the draft legs below. So you'll see a list of the options. You can change the quantity, so you can increase or decrease right from here, or you can click on any of these. We call these pills, these little cubes that indicate where the option legs are, and you can increase the quantity here as well. So, and you can also delete them from here, just like this. So if you decide you just want this vertical spread, you can delete them. So that can be handy because, like, if I want to, let's say I want to create what they call a jade lizard, which is really just an iron condor, but you have the put unprotected. So this would be an iron condor, but if I delete this put, then that would be considered a jade lizard. Okay, so from these three templates, the vertical spread, the iron condor, and the butterfly, we've found that you can easily manipulate them to pretty much create any sort of option strategy. One that I'm considering adding on here is a calendar spread, because that is a little bit more tricky to just quickly put a calendar spread on here. You can easily do it just by adding one option here and then changing the focus expiration. So let's do a calendar spread here. So like if we were going to sell a call at the 11-day expiration, but then we wanted to buy a call at the, let's do 37 days. So I had this at 11-day. The focus expiration is showing you, the focus expiration is what the expiration date is of the strikes that are displayed on the chart at the time, as well as when you go to add options, what the expiration date is of the option that will be added. So right now we have this 11 DTE on here, this call. So if I switch now to, let's say 40 days to expiration as the focus, and I click this strike, oh, we don't even have that exact strike at that expiration date, but if I click on 6875 and go buy call, so this is the calendar spread. Now it's graphing out the risk profile of the calendar spread is tricky, and because it's kind of like, well, which expiration are you using as the expiration? And so I think we're still going to work on that. Calendar spreads are they're just a more complex beast to graph out, but you can enter them that way. The visualization of them is something that can be improved. But so also, if you have existing positions already on SPX, you can click Show Existing, and it will list them down below. I don't have any down below, but I can put this on, let's see. Well, let's do this. So this is the trade page. You can trade from here, and its main purpose is it also has the option chain. But I almost always trade on the visualizer, so that is why we have this visualizer available over here that you can quick jump to. So you can type in your symbol that you want to trade with and click visualizer, or you can get there for a specific underlying just by being on a position you already have open, like SPY. So if I click visualize here, then I get into the position visualizer. Again, this is where I spend most of my time. It comes up with my existing trade. So this is my existing position. It has all of the options that I had actually closed listed, but unchecked by default, because by default we're only looking at the ones that are currently open. So you can always come in here and view the risk profile of that open position. You can also unselect these, and then you can add in new drafts. So let's say I'm going to add in an iron condor. I can make it more of a bullish iron condor. And if you want to look at what it would look like if you had two different strategies on at the same time, that is possible. So like right now I have 4 legs on there. If I want to turn them into an iron fly, like this, and I want to look at what it would look like if I added another iron fly, I can do that. So let me add a put iron fly here, 660. Actually, I'll add a butterfly, so it'll be 2 different strategies. Put. So I've got a butterfly also on here, like this. And the way this works is, with an order you can only submit 4 legs in one order. So this is the order draft that we're putting together. That we have the first 4 legs that were added. That represents these legs. These are considered, that we added after the first 4 are considered visual only. So if you go to submit an order, it'll just be based on these 4 legs that we first added. Once these are removed, then these become the draft legs and they become part of the next order. But it's a way that you can plan out what you want your risk profile to look like without being limited to only being able to have the next trade that you're going to be entering on here. And then you can also add in your current open positions. So you end up with not just everything you have on in the market already, but what options you're going to be adding in. So the sky is the limit on this. You can plan out everything you're going to do with the positions that you already have open and the positions that you're going to add in, and really get a good gauge of what the risk reward profile will look like. So I think that is about all we need to cover for the position visualizing. I will go back to the dashboard and just show on the detail page. So within the detail page, you can create groups. That's another thing I wanted to touch on. Now, you can also manage and create groups from the visualizer. That's a little bit more of a deep dive than I think we want to get into on this, because this video could go on for a really long time if we got that specific. But groups are managed very well on the position detail page. So you can create a group. For example, let's say, so 2 of these trades are in one account and 2 of these trades are in another account. It is nice that we keep track of the P&L across the multiple accounts. But if I want to be able to see what the profit is for one account or the other, I can group them. And for this, I can just say account. I'll just be simple, account 1. So I created a group called account 1. And I create another group called account 2. So you can see these 2 groups are right here. And if I want to put the ones that are in this account into account 1, you can just drag and drop them into that group. Just drag that one to account 1. You can also just select them, and then when you've got these trades selected, you can see there's a button on the group header that just says add selected. So that will also add them. So now I have these grouped. And so I can see the rolling P&L for each group of trades, each account. It makes it easier to just close out a group. And you can ungroup them quickly, you can rename them. But I want to stress how useful this is. If you trade I mean, this honestly is huge for trading multiple option strategies, because I've had so many situations where I have a couple iron condors in SPY, or I have an iron condor and a couple credit spreads in a particular underlying like Apple, and I decide I want to go in and close that one vertical spread, and I'm thinking, and you're in the moment and you're trying to pick out which ones are part of that strategy, and it becomes very frantic and difficult. Where when you have them grouped like this, all you have to do is go to that group and say close group. It shows you the legs that are in that group. If you're in a hurry and you don't want to wait for a limit fill and you just want to push it to the market, boom, confirm. Otherwise, you can set a limit and it gives you what the current mid price is for those, and confirm. So this, I wanted to pause on this because this is another feature which inspired me years ago to start building a platform like this, is because you can group these trades however you want them. You can view, and that's the other thing. I'd go in and I'd have, and you can do grouping in Thinkorswim, but it's tedious and messy, and it doesn't work the way I would like it to. This works the way I would like it to work. So I can see exactly what my profit is for that one specific strategy, and not just try to calculate it out based on a bundle of trades that are in that underlying. So grouping is really handy for that. So let's move on to the closed position page. So if you click here, you will see a list of all of your trades that have been closed. By default, it shows the last 6 months. You get a nice total, the number of positions, average per trade. It's just some minor analytics. And this is also where it's handy to use the tags, because then you can just go to, I just want to see all of my rolling positions. Of course, I only tag that open one, so it won't show, or all of my long-term positions, and it will give you the same view, the same list of them, but it will use whatever tag you've entered for your filter. You can also filter that by symbol, or you can do like if you just want to have a custom date range, that will that will allow you to narrow it down based on that. So the closed position page is kind of a nice place to go back and review. You can treat this as a trade log also. You can go back and you can review the notes that you made on the different positions. You can see what you tag the different positions as. I also have this performance button, again, because this is a brand new account. It hasn't had a chance to take snapshots every day of your open trades, and so that's not going to be useful until you've had an account on Optionsmith for a while. But that is the closed page. The orders page allows you to see, let's see this week, all of your orders. There is a, if you have a working order, so you have one that's in the brokerage that's working, then we will have an adjust capability, so you can adjust the limit price on it and resubmit that order. You can also cancel orders from here. So it's pretty handy. When you submit a trade from the visualizer or from the trade page, we actually have what we call the order drawer. So you submit an order, this drawer comes up, it from the bottom of the page. It lists your orders. It shows you essentially this kind of thing, but it allows you to adjust right there on the fly. So that way, because that's something I found, if you're submitting an order from the visualizer page and you want to kind of manage a limit order and try to do price discovery and get filled, you can adjust it right in that little tray, and you don't have to actually click over to this order page to do that and then go back. And that way you can still also see like what the market is doing. And then we will go to the analytics page. So this page is it gives you a nice graphic analytics of all of your trades. It's got the closed performance, so it shows you how it's got a little spark graph showing how your closed positions have performed over time. Again, you can filter this out so you can view analytics on a specific account, specific symbol, specific tag that you've used, and again, date ranges. It's got a lot of data here. So you've got Sharpe ratio, sorting ratio, expectancy, win rate, everything that's useful for that. It shows you your open exposure. It shows you a lot of monthly P&L. So for each month, how many trades did you enter that month for whatever your filtering is at the top? How did they do? It can show you your strategy mix. So credit spreads did the best, broken wing butterfly, ironfly. It just figures all of that out and shows you which strategies that you've used have performed the best. It's got the largest gain trades, largest losses, DTE at open. So how much did I make for the trades that I opened that were 31 to 60 days till expiration? Time in trade, how long did I stay in these trades, and how much did I make for the trades that I was in for 31 plus days? And then adjustments, like I made 2 adjustments for the trades where I had made 2 adjustments. How much did I make on those? So this is a good way to compare and contrast just different mechanics that you've used, different strategies that you've used, and really see what actually did perform. Because there's back testing, which is useful in my mind to decide if something is worth even trying. Because if you can't get it to show at least excuse me, if you can't get it to show at least some kind of an edge when you're back testing, then I don't have an interest in even trying it, because the odds are it's probably not going to. It could still work in real use, but there's so many strategies out there. So the back testing is my way, at least, of figuring out which ones are even worth trying. But this is a good way for forward testing to figure out which things actually worked in real trading for you. And this is a page where I think we have a lot of things we can add to it. And we, like I said before, will be very open to suggestions, or if people have things that they want. It is very important to us to make this a platform that helps people and is also very enjoyable to use, because for some of us, we just love looking at this data. We just really enjoy getting into the numbers, and for trading, it's also very comforting to just have numbers to fall back on. And when you have those days where you get, or weeks where you get multiple loser trades in a row, and you can just look at the numbers and go, okay, I know what the numbers say I can expect in the long term. That's really how I think I like to deal with the psychology of trading, and dealing with those times where things are not going your way, is just fall back on the numbers and use that as a basis for why you're going to continue to do what you're doing. So again, this is open for enhancement, and I think we really have a good base here, but we're happy to hear any ideas people have for what can make this analytics page more useful. Okay, so I think that goes over the basics of the Optionsmith platform. Hopefully this is sort of a good onboarding video for people that are just getting started. At the time I'm recording this video, we are still in soft release, which means if you want to try out the Optionsmith platform, you will need to email support@optionsmith.com, and we will give you access if there's still room in our slots, and you'll be able to use the platform for 14 days on a free trial. You don't have to enter anything, you don't have to give a credit card or anything, just a free trial. After that, at the time of this video recording, we are planning that the subscription would be $9.99, so just under $10 a month, to be able to use the Optionsmith platform going forward. So I hope this video helps and you find it very informative, and thanks for watching.